Lucky you.
36
Turn
best holes in
into
golf.
Alternate Shots podcast,
Barney's Army.
where we talk about golf,
Sandy.
poker,
James Bond.
horse racing,
Double.
classic movies.
Zenyatta.
We have no script.
Down the stretch they come.
We are glad you joined us.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Hey, Billy. Billy, it's been not even that long. We were just talking to our friend Mike Durkin. Now, across the hall, who are we talking to today?
Jesus Lopez, the one and only Jesus Lopez, who probably knows more about every member in the locker room than all of us, and will not say a word about any of them if we're smart. But Jesus takes care of everybody. He's a service guy, like many of the guys at Wingfoot. He's been there for decades, and you never know what you do without him. So welcome aboard, Jesus.
Thank you, Mr. Reagan. I've been enjoying your podcast very much. Very nice. Thank you for having me.
So, Jesus, you've been at Wingfoot for how many years?
This is going to be my 35 years.
So 35 years. So you
35.
We talked to Mike Durkin. He goes back to,
30
Tommy
years or so.
Forty and Johnny Busek and then Mike Gilmore. But in your way, you span going back to those really stiff leather FootJoys with the spikes to the Skechers, right? You've seen everything in between.
Where did you
yes,
start?
yes.
What was your first job at Wingfoot?
So when I came to Wingfoot, I started working in the kitchen as a porter. I don't know how they came up with this name, but I was actually, basically cleaning up after the chef and the cooks, that made their mess during dinners.
Yeah.
And I would come to work like around 4 o'clock and just stay there until like around 3 a.m. cleaning up the whole kitchen. That was my first job there. And I started Wingfoot 1988.
Boy, did you have friends here? Did you have friends here that?
Yeah, I had my brother was here already, and a lot of people that I knew from back home. So it was fun. Then I started working at Orienta Beach Club for a year, and then I went over for like a month to Pelham Country Club, and from Pelham I went to Wingfoot. And actually, that job at Wingfoot was not for me. It was for another friend who, somebody from Wingfoot called him, and he says, "No, I don't want to go over." So I was like, you know what? I'll just go over.
Yeah. So how many different jobs have you had there? You've been in the kitchen, hopefully got out of there quick.
So I was in the kitchen as a porter, and then I also work as a pot washer. They had like 3 different positions there. It was the porter who cleaned the kitchen up, all night, and then or washing dishes or pots, and then from there, Rita Leduc wanted me to work as a busboy, and I was kind of like, I kind of didn't want to, but she's like, "Okay, come over. Don't be afraid. It's easy. I'll teach. The only thing you need to know is how to make right toast."
You don't even need to know that anymore.
Yeah. So I started, little by little with her. She was very nice to me, and that's when I started there.
Rita Leduc, what a memory. She was a little woman, but big of stature, right?
Oh, yeah. She was on top of everything. Like, you would come over to Wingfoot to work, and she would kind of like check you out all over and say to you, "Oh dear, your belt doesn't match, it has to be black," or things like that. "Your shoes aren't shine."
I think she was trained in the British Service Union. She was a little British. Billy, you can imagine it. She was smaller than Terry.
Yeah.
She used to muscle those big tables around like they were baseball cards. She just moved those things around. She threw her body at it. And even till she was well into her late ages at Wingfoot. She spent her career there, right?
Yeah, so we have Rita to thank for your expertise at shining shoes, right? Because you had to take care of your own in the first place.
True. She was very nice to me, but she was just on top of everybody. Like, she just wanted everybody to be neat, clean, presentable, for the service. and she was just on top of everybody.
So people don't misunderstand. Your job in the locker room covers a whole lot more than taking care of people's shoes. And I know
Yes.
there's all kinds of, care you have to take for the members or their guests and stuff like that. You need to remember names. You need to have a good memory. You need to have the right temperament. It
Right.
must be, it must be a kind of a juggling act at all times. Do you get a lot of enjoyment out of it?
Yeah, so the time just passed by. It's just a lot going on besides what we do, like cleaning shoes and greeting members and like every day. Then on top of that, I get to order all the supplies for the locker room.
One of the things I note about the people that work at Wingfoot, especially you guys in the locker room, is you remember someone, even if you just met them once. So if I brought a guest up, a year later, I would bring them and you would remember my friend Bill Regan if he was my guest. How do you do that? I mean, how do you have that memory and capability?
It's difficult. Sometimes, sometimes I do remember, sometimes I don't, but it depends on how, people are. If they come over and they kind of like, establish a conversation with you, you get to know them. And that's how, you kind of like, oh, they kind of like, this is my name. And so you remember. And when they come back, you go like, oh, let's say, Kevin, hey, Kevin, how was your day up there? And things like that. And they like it.
Transition
difficult.
from Sal before you, was that difficult originally? Forever.
Oh, Sal was there for, many years. I think he was, I think he came into the locker probably 1980. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say 1970 something. And so he was the man. He was, I got along with him really well. He was very funny all the time, kind of like teasing members and stuff. A lot of laughing.
I remember.
He was the best. And so
I remember one of
yeah.
the stories about Sal was when somebody's wife was calling and Sal would say he's not here. And then the wife finally said, Sal, when are you going to stop lying to me? And Sal said, when are you going to stop asking me? So
it was really funny. Yeah, he would, Mr. Shields.
Yep.
So Mr. Shields and Mr. Harnett used to play like once or twice a week, every week, and they would come over to the locker and go into the shower, together, very slow, and then at the end they would say to Sal, okay, Sal, so I'll see you. And he kind of like didn't remember when he was going to come again. So Sal was like, all right, I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah. Don't trouble yourself.
But he was really nice to, in some kind of a way to make people laugh and to make people feel, great in the locker room. And it was the best.
So how do you gear up for the member, for instance, when you're going to get 3 days of people coming in and out of there 24/7?
Oh, for the member, that's the busiest, tournament for us. We put a lot of hours and we have to like make sure everybody's, like we have like supplies and we have plenty of stuff for that tournament. It's just a lot of going on. So we kind of like,
especially if it rains.
Exactly. Yeah. If it rains, it's just extra work. But it's all good. It's just a lot of fun. Those are just great tournaments.
Now for the bigger tournaments like the US Open, what's that like?
Well, in 2006, I was in the dining rooms. So that was a really, kind of like crazy for us. Very busy. I mean, so many people came into the to the clubhouse towards the terrace. And at the end, the busiest day, I had a station, a few tables on the terrace. And I was like really tired. So many people coming in, especially like 4 o'clock for cocktails. And they would just keep coming. It was really busy. I mean, so many people came to eat and drink, and you would.
Did you meet any famous people? Any of the golf pros? Did you meet Phil Mickelson?
In 2006, I actually serve Tiger Woods for
You
breakfast.
you didn't spill anything on him.
No, that time I did.
That time you didn't. Just to clarify something, that story you told about Sal and Mr. Shields and Mr. Hartnett, you said they went into the shower together. I just want to clarify that they didn't go
At the same time.
shower. They went separate showers. They just went into the room together, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The biggest tip I ever had
Yeah.
from well, the biggest tip is
Doesn't
Mr. Mickelson
Oh,
in 2020. 2020, he never used the locker room. He actually came the last day, for him. And he came, he was really nice. He came and said hello to us and went into the, because, the lockers were assigned to the pros, and he kind of like wanted to know where the locker was. So, I directed him, and he went into the locker to grab all his belongings, things that they get from the open, I guess, companies.
The handouts, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's when he gave us the tip, and then we kind of like help him out, bag up all their his belongings, and that's the only thing, the only time we saw him.
That's nice. So when you come in the morning, sometimes you come in the morning very early. Now you're in the upper locker room, but both locker rooms have a lounge area. Did you ever have to wake anybody up?
Oh, yes.
Or not wake anybody up.
Sometimes, if there is a like a big event like the Nibs or the 2-day or one of those big tournaments, sometimes you have to wake them up. Even on a regular day, sometimes just prefer to stay, and it's good because that way they don't have to drive.
Yep.
That's right.
Sometimes they shouldn't drive. So
yes, it's true.
Especially if they're having a good time.
Did you ever meet any celebrities like in the old days, Babe Ruth or Mickey Mantle, the baseball players?
Yes, that's one of the really nice things to be working at Winfood, is that you kind of like get to know a lot of celebrities and important people.
Were you there when Justin Timberlake came to play golf?
Justin Timberlake, and then another man that I forgot his name last year. He came with I think Dennis McAuliffe brought him.
Oh, Vinnie Jones. Dennis, the stars follow Dennis around.
Yeah, Dennis was a star in that group. You don't have to tell us about who he brought. So, Jesus, this is a familiar background to you. I'm sure that you come out of that upper locker room, down the little stairs, say hello to Jose, out the door and to the right. And what do you get to look at? You get to look at the most beautiful 280 acres in America, right?
Oh my God, yeah. Every time I'm at Winfood, everywhere you look, it's just so great. It's a beautiful place all over.
It's like the Emerald City for Dorothy walking out of her house, and that's what she sees.
Yes.
It reminds me, do you play golf? What's your best round of golf at Wingfoot? Have you broken?
No, I play golf probably maybe twice a year. I'm just terrible. I mean, I can hit one good shot, and the next one is like, maybe 2 yards.
Yeah, that sounds like everybody.
Were you ever upstairs and one of your upstairs locker members came in and said they had a hole-in-one? Did anybody ever come in and said they had a hole-in-one?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of members that come in, and when they have a hole-in-one, they kind of like poof. It's the best feeling, for everybody, I guess. A lot of them.
Until they get the bill.
The best one was Mr. Mitchell.
Jim Mitchell.
Mark Mitchell.
Oh, Mark Mitchell,
who had a hole-in-one on 3 East. I think it was last year or the year before, and so he hit the shot, and the ball goes to the rock on the right side, and from there it goes right into the hole.
Wow!
And so Jimmy, his brother, was like, "Well, my mother was saying that it was not him. It was Mr. Mitchell Senior who helped him out. He passed, so he says, just hit that ball and I'll take care of the rest.
I'll take care of the rest.
Balboa Offshore Eagle. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Great story. Now we're going to talk to Jimmy Mitchell because he had a hole-in-one on a different hole, but we'll have to bring that one up. You want to share a story with us, and we'll wrap up with that story. Okay.
So during the Open, the 2020, everybody's in face covering and the pandemic stuff, and so the Wednesday of the Open week, all the pros were like checking in, and coming to the locker room. So we were kind of like directing them to their lockers that were assigned to them. And so, they came into the locker like one by one or two by two, with staff. We were helping them out with, if they had like one or two bags, because nobody else was allowed into the locker but the pros. So, it was like midday, and this gentleman comes into the locker, and I'm like right in the middle where the desk is, and I'm looking at him. He has a hat and face covering, and I'm like, oh, hi, sir. Welcome to Wingfoot. What is your last name? He looked at me and he's like, Woods. I'm like, I'm sorry. Oh, here I'm sorry. I didn't recognize you. I'm just gonna show you your locker. So I show him the locker, and he just kind of like opened up the locker and looked, what was inside, and closed the locker. And I just saw him one more time, and that was it. We never saw him again.
It was almost like he came in disguise.
I'm sorry?
He came in a disguise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he kind of like looked at me like he was surprised that I didn't recognize him. And I seriously, I didn't. It was kind of like far away for me, and I'm just looking at him. All I saw was his face cover in a hat, and
Sure.
Okay, how are you? Embarrassing story about Wingfoot, the 2020.
Well, you could have always said to him, don't you know I'm Jesus Lopez?
Yeah, don't you recognize me?
I'm in my 4th decade here at Wingfoot. I'm famous. I know they treat everybody so well at Wingfoot. What's the common denominator there? Is it the members treat you so well, the staff works together well, and the management? Is it all work for you guys? Is that why there's such longevity for employees at Wingfoot?
We, as fellow employees, we kind of like get along well. Everybody kind of like, very well. But also the membership is just the best. I mean, everybody, we have so many nice people at Wingfoot that it's unbelievable. I mean, every day you come over, you see, everybody coming like, very happy. They teach you, they come over, and that's, what makes you feel really, well there. A lot of good people at Wingfoot.
Well, you guys treat us great. We have nothing to complain about over there. So
thank you. Our pleasure.
You should.
We do find things to complain about because people do that, but really,
if they come in and they've walked out in this beautiful Emerald City that we're looking at, and they're not happy, you should get them a cab and send them home. Come back when you're happy, because this is a happy place. You shouldn't.
Yeah, Saxon Woods is right down the street.
There is no reason to be, unhappy there, right? It's just so a special place.
Hey, this has been outstanding, Jesus. We really appreciate your time, your service, and how you treat all of us, because it's an invisible line between everybody at Wingfoot that looks out at these 280 acres and so happy to be able to walk them and see them and play golf there.
And then get taken care of by people like you afterwards and beforehand. It's, it's a privilege and a treat.
Thank you so much. We are very, very lucky to be there too. So many good people, and we just try to do the best. The best one was Mr. Mitchell, Mark Mitchell.
Oh, Mark Mitchell,
who had a hole-in-one on 3 East. So he hit the shot, and the ball goes to the rock on the right side, and from there it goes right into the hole.
Wow.
And so Jimmy, his brother, was like, it was not him. It was Mr. Mitchell Senior who helped him out. He passed, so he says, just hit that ball and I'll take care of the rest.
Just to clarify something, that story you told about Sal and Mr. Shields and Mr. Hartnett, you said they went into the shower together. I just want to clarify that they didn't go
at
into
the same time.
shower. They went separate showers. They just went into the room together, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us
Casper.
today.
Billy
We
Harmon.
really appreciate your
Double
feedback.
Indemnity.
And please
Arky.
subscribe to the
Two
show
Router.
and hit the
Claude
bell
Harmon.
icon so you get notified
Movie
of
Classics.
new episodes.
Mark Gable.
Hit 'em
On
hard
Job.
and hit 'em off.
Best 36 holes.